like, cause my big thing, bro, is like my biggest thing, like real life biggest thing, is like I'm streaming for 8 hours a day. I am not going back and highlighting the 5 minutes we were trading drug or trading spy and it hit, right? Like that's difficult for me. Like I'm already, that's difficult for me. As much as I would love to, like want to, like I think that would be so beneficial. I don't got it in me right now. So like eventually, fuck yeah. But like if we did it like, hour and a half sesh every Sunday that highlighted what we're looking at for the week. Like what like I mean people can tune into that, see what we're talking about, even on Wednesday, like, catch the levels. Exactly. Facts. Fuck yeah. No, exactly. And like I mean, I started so like the Nebula thing, like I actually collaborate with them on that weekly, what is it? Weekly video they put out, which is fire. It's been fire. So that's been good. But yeah, that added little bit um could be dope. Could be dope for sure. I'm just putting this YouTube. Oh, you're Gucci. Oh, you're Gucci, bro. Do whatever. Ooh, that's better. Crispy. I appreciate it, man. No, I'm more than anything excited. Shit, you're here right now, bro. You started this. It is. Let's get it. Let's get it. It is. Um, let me. So I'm getting my. I got the stream set up. We should be good. What's up, everybody? What's up? Yo, yo. Mags, Cab. Yeah, maybe we'll start doing like a Sunday sesh. Like I feel like that'd be so beneficial. I'm like especially like again like you said for me for content wise like Mags ain't tuning in on Tuesday at you know 12:30 p.m. and being like okay, where am I going to find Chewy DD or whatever the fuck, right? That's difficult. So like maybe we start doing some shit like this. So let's see what fucking happens. I got Sal in here talking to me, asking some questions. Everybody else, yeah, definitely hop into YouTube or Twitch. It's also live in Discord, but I would ask that you mute your mic. Oh, you're good. I just would ask anybody. Bro. There's a stream in Discord, so just go in the Discord. So you stay in the Discord. You should be able to. Yeah, I'm sharing the screen. You should be able to watch the stream. I don't exactly know how to do it from. But you should definitely be able to. What's up, everybody? Yeah, good evening. Hey, happy fucking Sunday night, man. Hope y'all had a good weekend. Sal, let me know if and when you figure it out. I can even let me try and I'm gonna try and watch it on mine and see if it works too, so I can maybe help. But yeah, I would anybody just listening. I mean, again, feel free to hop in the Discord, but I would recommend the YouTube just for visual and all of us following along together kind of deal. Like I said, maybe we turn this into a thing where we can get together for a half hour to an hour Sunday nights and get ready for the week. Um, like I said before, I was telling Sal, Nebula puts out the weekly shit Monday mornings. I work with them on that. I help find plays that are, some of the best plays. So anything that I'm sharing here is gonna be, uh, kind of following up with what we put out through Nebula. So that's gonna be the primary focus week by week. Um, but again, happy to dive into a bunch of shit, you know, pre-market or you haven't found it yet. Take your time, bro. I'm not in any rush. I'm hanging out. Yeah, there. Yeah. I see. Whenever I click on like just that VC area, it says watch stream and shit. So that's probably how you do it. I don't like I said, I'm on my shit, but yeah, love it, Mags. Thank you. Yeah, fuck yeah, appreciate you. No, I mean again, like I really been. I don't even like. I've been failing at sharing trades and shit in Discord, which again, I got a lot of. I'd love to give y'all everything. I'd love to be, saying, "Hey, I just went long spy. Go to Twitter, post it there. Go to Discord, post it there." Um, but it's to be honest with you, it's just too much at this point. I'm but I mean, fuck, like let's get there, right? Like let's all get there. I'd love that. But yeah, like I said, I mean, just bear with me, right? Like it's where we're going. I don't know how to fucking do it. I'm like yeah, we'll get there. Dude, Bitcoin is coming into make or break territory. Like this is we need to break 70K or we're going big down. So I'm definitely watching a lot of the miners this week. I mean, if Bitcoin can break 70K and hold 70K, I mean, fuck, buy every dip on everything. Yeah. Let me just double check. Say something again real quick, Sal. I can. I just want to make sure. I gotta double check this. Bila Trades Discord. Okay, now audio should be good. Audio wasn't coming through for you.
Okay, you can hear me good?
Got it. Yep, got it. Perfect. Awesome.
Perfect.
Awesome. Yeah. Mara Wolf, run it over. Say, yeah, but dude. No, I'm telling you. Uh, what's my favorite miner? Maybe we'll dive into that because that's a great question. I like them all. If like seriously, Bitcoin at 70K is either going to drop down to 40K, 45K, or it's gonna send to 85, 90. So like it's a big deal this week, right? Like basically Bitcoin is either gonna reject 70K in the next few hours type shit, or
Mhm.
or break it and be sending throughout the week. Where if we can break 70K and Bitcoin sending throughout the week, it's sending everything, everything related to it throughout the week. So definitely a big thing. But like we'll get into the miners, we'll get into some of that other shit. Like I said, the goal. I mean, shit. Let's prepare for the week. Let's go over some charts. I got Sal here asking some questions, pointing some shit out to look at, tickers and whatnot wise. So we'll see what we figure out, and hopefully, if we're gonna decide to do this weekly, we can make it better every week. So let's dive into whatever. I mean, I'll shit. Sal, what's up? Let's
Word.
dive into whatever you're looking for, or any
Let's
questions you
do
might
it.
have.
Yeah, so basically, let's start with maybe finding some of your favorite setups or from the past, or maybe there's something right now that you're looking at. Finding some of your favorite setups, going over that, showing how you draw and find those levels on a play like that.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, what you look for, to either support that or change your bias when you find something like that.
Definitely, that's a great question and a great way to go about it. So I'll preface this by saying, and hopefully quickly sharing if I can pull it up. This open in browser. So okay. Anybody again watching on stream, which I hope the majority of you are, if you're following along. Um, Everything I trade is based on these core 5 patterns here. So when I'm looking for an entry, if I'm measuring a target, if I'm doing X, Y, Z, at the core of it, one of the very first things I'll look for is to identify what pattern the stock is in, right? and it's one of these five. So I've shared this, plenty of times. It's in our Discord pin, blah blah blah. If you need to find it, we'll help you find it. The easiest and the best way for me going about stock trading, um, the way I've simplified it, is identifying this one of these five patterns. So I find all of my setups, regardless of what the structure is, it could be any of these five patterns, right? Because um, the way the market moves, the way their algorithm tracks price is through a combination of all of these five patterns at the same time. You will see an impulse combined with a diagonal inside of a zigzag, all while being inside of a triangle in XYZ, right? It can get extremely complicated. I simplify it by trying to, very first and foremost, when I'm trying to take a trade, identifying one of these patterns, and that's the impulse here. It's a 5-wave move. And the only difference between this 5-wave move and the second 5-wave move in being the diagonal is the fact that in the impulse, your wave 1 and wave 4 do not cross. So again, you have the impulse, you have 1 wave up, 2 waves down, 3 up, your 4th wave will not cross the top of 1. The diagonal, you can see again, the top of 1, the bottom of 4. It's more of a consolidation type pattern. It's more choppy. It's more difficult to kind of understand what's going on. Dragon has ASMR soothing voice. Thank you. Also, I am getting baked, so this is a session. So you are
Absolutely.
completely allowed and encouraged to get fucking high, or spark a joint, crack a beer, hang out with us on Sunday night. But the impulse, right? So again, I look for 5-wave impulses. Impulse is the simplest because it's a 5-wave pattern, right? You see these numbers below the diagonal. It's either 5 3 5 3 5 or 3 3 3 3. Like, fuck all that, right? 1 2 3 4 5. It's all 5s and 3s. This is the way to. Bro, definitely drinking and smoking. You know. All right. So I'd love to. It's gonna. You caught me a little off guard in terms of, and maybe not even so. There's so many examples, but some of the best setups, right? So it's complicated and it's not complicated. You can look at SPY and you can, again, like, I seriously recommend always have pulling up this chart of patterns and comparing. Copy and paste this impulse here, 1 through 5. Let's go to the SPY chart and let's try to find a 5-wave pattern. I see one right here very quickly, which makes a lot of sense. Oh, damn it. Sorry, I gotta recopy it because I pressed the wrong button. So to answer your question, right, what am I looking for when I'm trying to take a trade? The majority of the time, I'm looking to either see a pattern that's already developed or identify a pattern that is developing. We're looking at previous price action, so we're using the power of hindsight. I'm looking at the price action here between the low of Friday, September 6th, 2024, up to the high of Thursday, September 19th, 2024. That move right there is a perfect 5-wave move, if you ask me. I'll label it to help people identify what I am seeing and using this. Again, it's all the power of hindsight. We're not trying to predict the future here. We're literally just using previous price action to match it with a a pattern. And in this case, I see a very clear 1 2 3 4 5. Now, if you wanted to put this is a little more complex and irrelevant early on in identifying, you could put the wave 3 top here. You can put the wave 3 top here. Again, that's far more complex. Let's just keep it simple. Very simply, um, and let me know if you don't see it, if it's difficult, because I think this shit's simple. I think it's, it's like second nature, identifying these patterns within structure to me. So if you're not seeing it, let me know so that, maybe I can help identify it. But I think it's extremely simple. Now again, ignoring all price action outside of the low from Friday, September 6th, to the high of Thursday. And like I said before, we have to keep in mind there are patterns within patterns. It gets unbelievably complex. But to simplify it, we're looking for 5 wave moves and 3 wave moves. And again, there is a very clear 5 wave move within the larger structure. Of course, it's a much larger structure, which is made up of so many different aspects, so many different patterns, XYZ, blah, blah, blah. But right here, we have a very clear 5 wave move into a peak. And again, you can draw the 5 up to here, which would, potentially be valid. How you validate and invalidate these things is based on breaking down the smaller structures. But again, to answer your question, how do I look for shit? That's an example, a very broad, simple example on a macro scale, and what I look for. I'm trying to think if I remember one really good trade I hit on coin a while back that was perfect for this. But Sal, how are you? Does that make sense? Am I explaining this correct? In a way that makes sense to you?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, yep.
Okay, I just got lost for a second, but yes, you are explaining it in a way that makes sense. So you're looking for the 5 move. Um, and then, I'm sorry, I did lose you for like
It's
10,
okay.
20 seconds or
It's
something,
okay.
so I missed.
No, go ahead.
And then, so when you're finding that 5 wave, right, where do you and how do you set your levels? I don't know if you said
Yeah.
that just now.
Okay, cool. Yeah, no, I didn't. So that's just generally like the 5 wave move is just, I'm looking at a chart. Does this look familiar to me? Right? Like I'm looking at the daily, weekly on coin here. Um what looks familiar to me, right? So in a broad sense, like before even asking the question, do I want to take a trade on coin? What do I see here? This is the
Mm.
weekly, right? This is as broad, as broad as it gets. Generally, obviously you can zoom out a little further. What do I see here? So we've got all-time high back in May of 2021. We've got an absolute dump, but since the low we've put in January 2023, I see some structure forming here, right? So the first thing I'm going to
Mhm.
identify is the fact that I believe, okay, my question is this bullish or bearish, right? This looks bullish generally. It's sold off massively since IPO, which happens fucking, as many times as the sun rises in the morning. And what do I identify here? I see a very clear potential wave 1 up, 2 down, right? So let's start there. That's pretty clear, right?
Right.
Now, when I look for these structures, ignoring the 1 up, 2 down, one of two things is happening. Structures play out in 3 waves or 5 waves. So I look at Coin's weekly chart and I ask myself, what's happening here? We have this much data, right? So to me, it's very clear. In my mind, I'm assuming this is a 1 up, 2 down, a very explosive, strong wave 3 up somewhere,
Mm.
right? Somewhere. So we have 3, 4, 5. Okay, cool. Now, if we had replayed this back until here on coin, if we just had this data on coin and we didn't have I have confidence it's in a wave 3. let's just start here. How do I analyze this? I know for a fact, again, charts move, charts, whatever, stocks, whatever, I don't know, fucking put it however you want. They move in either one, two, three being the strongest, four, five wave moves, or they move in one, two, three wave moves. I also know that when a five wave impulse plays out, it's likely to be trending higher. SPY is a good example. Um, over the long term, you can look at SPY and you can do exactly what we just did a little bit ago and counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, the fucking, bounce it out to the weekly, bounce it out to the monthly. You can see the exact same thing playing out time and time and time again on every chart. Um, so in Coin's case, again, the kind of way I think about it is the five wave means the trend is continuing. Now, if it's a three wave, it likely means it's a correction. So this says impulse. Wait, shit. What is it? There's two types of waves, five types of patterns. There's a corrective wave, which basically, if your shit is bullish, correction will be to the downside. If your shit is bearish, your correction will be to the upside, right? So
Mm-hmm.
if you're trending up, you're going to correct to the downside and you're going to continue trend eventually higher. If you're trending
Right.
down, you're going to correct to the upside, which it's basically sell the rip or short the pop, right? You're either bullish or bearish. The impulse and the diagonal, never mind. Forget what I'm about to say. That's irrelevant in my opinion. We're looking at this, we're looking at coin and we're like, okay, is this going to pump into a third wave higher because it's bullish, or is it going to be a three wave into a rejection where eventually it goes lower, right? Um, that's kind of the way I look
Right.
at it.
And at this point here, like if this is the data you have,
Mhm.
are you looking like, okay, a little bit back and you're saying, okay, this price here served as support a little bit on coin. I'm going to look for that to hold. And this was the previous high. I'm going to look for it to break up in order to, reassure myself that this is a three wave up.
Yep, exactly. So I can go. What I'm going to show you is the math and how I determine one scenario versus the other scenario. And this is
Okay.
not gospel. This takes ability to read other aspects of the market. It can be very clear, very easy, but what I'm showing you is my system in measuring these
Mhm.
moves. Some other people, it's mathematics, if you ask me, right? I am measuring the
Mhm.
math. So the probabilities, right? And probabilities get, you know, even 9 to 1 can be proved wrong, and that is the same about the way I look at stocks. The way I
Mm.
look at them is exactly this. Are we in a five wave move, or how I do it in my mind is, are we in an motive wave? So motive is the other word. Motive means bullish in my mind, right? And maybe, some other people do exactly what I do and they call it fucking something else, whatever. Basically, there's a bullish move or a bearish move. Bullish move will resume higher after a bearish correction. A bearish move will resume lower after a bullish correction, which I have again outlined here. Um,
Right.
we have a bullish move. We have a genuinely bearish move that eventually goes back down. So the math behind that, and Rithwick, yeah, please hop into voice chat. Um, let me message him. Um, fuck, spelled that wrong real bad. Yeah, Rithwick, hop on VC. Again, everybody else, I definitely would recommend um either following along on YouTube or please remaining muted in Discord, please. Thank you, thank you. But Rithwick, please do hop in the voice chat. Um, I see you're not in Discord quite yet. If you're on YouTube, definitely hop on there. And I would love to hear some questions, or because I know, yeah, like let's talk about it. So here's the math, right? And again, I know I'm so bad at doing this. I'm also baked a little. I've had a couple beers, so
No worries, dude.
I'm so
No
bad
worries.
at this. But with the math, here's how telling you. It's so like it's
The
so
math.
simple. It's so simple. It's so simple. You just I do think it takes some time to actually understand what's happening here and how to apply the math. So you have to understand the patterns, in my opinion. You have to understand the patterns, and then it's like, how do you apply the math?
Mm.
Um, and you know, I'm not a great teacher. I won't say that I'm a great teacher. Um, Let me put the numbers in here, values, and show you the trend line, where to draw them. And that should be good. Okay. So here are the my primary see it depends on the circumstance.
Right. And so for those watching at home, so that was just a Fibonacci retracement that you just drew?
It's a Fibonacci extension. I apologize. And I
Extension?
yep, and I highlighted where the points you draw them. So again, we're looking
Right.
at coin weekly chart in this
Right. And you
case.
found the low back in
Yes.
2023
Actually, yep,
or right before 2022,
absolutely.
at the end of 22. And then you drew to the next high and then the next low.
Yep, exactly. Highs and lows being extremely significant. Again, there's more complex ways to look at this, but we're keeping it simple here. Um, just to get the concept out. So now again, I will use this math here. Let me highlight this low and this high here. I think this will be helpful. So we have that high here. Sorry, oops. Come on. Let me just highlight the fact that we have a significant high there, right? That's the point. What I'm highlighting there is a significant high, and it's giving you the price over here on the right side. Oops, that at about 87.2063 is what it's got. Okay, and I'm gonna put another low, signaling the swing low. It's all-time low, right? Coin's all-time low at 31.55. So we have a range here, right? We have this impulse up, you know, massive move up from 31.55, which again is coin's all-time low, up to its swing high. I like to say swing high. What I call a swing is we have a low set. We know this is all-time low because we've started to swing higher. The swing high was into this 87.63 high because boom, we swung lower. We failed to take out that high. If we would have gone a little bit higher, we would have had another swing high, but we didn't. So our that swing high was into 87.63. And that swing low prior to this move up into $75 was there, right? We have a swing low, a swing high, and then another swing low. If you look at our stonk patterns, this could be, at least to this point in time, looked at as a wave one up, a wave two down, right? That's kind of what we
Mm-hmm.
got there. So perfect. What's the math behind this, right? I draw the Fibonacci to the points exactly that we just highlighted. Swing low, swing high, back to that second swing low. And we highlight, these are the more important ones in momentum, right? We want to assume, in this case, when I'm looking at these numbers, that this is going to make this wave three high, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is bullish. This is how you analyze patterns using math in a bullish scenario, or project that, right? If I were to say I'm bullish on coin above the, I would in most cases use an anchored VWAP. In this case, I would say bull at this point in time, back in 2023, 2022, whatever, coin was bullish above $60 because the anchored VWAP from its all-time low was telling me that volume was on the side of bulls above the $60 level, right? And I'm using a general level. If you mapped out exactly where this was, it would look pretty damn close to $60 from where that anchored VWAP is. That's a great indicator in terms of how to identify if a pattern is either bullish or bearish. So what I look at, and this isn't, it's tough in the way I kind of break it down in my head. Again, if this is bullish to wave 3, we want a wave 3. These are our best opportunities to make money. Wave 3 is going to trade into the 1.618, 2.618, 3.618, or so on. You can expect to find resistance if this is the pattern that's going to play out at these mathematical levels. 1.618, 2.618, 3.618, 4.618, so on. Now, these aren't to the penny. You can't, sometimes they are. It really depends on the sequence that plays out in that wave 3, because if you can imagine, in this wave 1, there was a 5-wave impulse. In this wave 3, you can expect, as I'll draw it here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves into one of these levels. In the case that I just drew it here, right, if you saw wave 2 of 3 into 193, you would see a wave 5 of 3 into 250. Now again, I know this gets extremely complicated. This is something we've been talking about quite a bit. Generally, it's not necessarily for people to understand the first time they're reading it.
Right, but essentially, so that would be a 5-wave up within a 3-wave.
Yes, beautiful. Absolutely. Now I will label them to show you how I would label them. Exactly, Sal. That's exactly how you would. Because again, like I said earlier, there are patterns within patterns. So
Right.
in this
Fibonacci.
exactly, right? Imagine the plant, the universe, all of these things. Absolutely. That's a great way to put it. You can imagine in a 5-wave impulse. Now again, this is one of 5 major patterns. In this scenario, when we are very bullish, and again, we have the power of hindsight to say that this is what is we can have pretty high confidence this is what's already playing out on coin, because we can see the price action. Now, looking at coin's price action, how can we adjust this, right, to kind of either validate or invalidate our thesis that this pattern is a 5-wave impulse? Now, I see pretty clearly here, we can adjust these to kind of look like this. Oh, shoot, sorry. I see a very large, another wave 1 up. I see something that looks quite a bit like the 3 we drew up into there, and then another 5th wave into there. So, again, based on what we just had drawn, that's pretty damn accurate. I don't know what you guys think, but to me, that's generally, and I'll actually just, let me go back and show what we had drawn. Yes, we were using the power of hindsight. I'm not, saying that I just did magic here, but just using this 1 wave up, 2 wave down, we used math to kind of guesstimate where these waves could be projected into. And now we're here. So based on what we have to this day, and I would adjust this, right? Let's adjust this now. Like, what am I seeing here? I'd say we have potential for that 3rd wave to be into this high here, because I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves into that 3rd, just like you said, Sal, right? You said you see, you can expect again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into that level, right? Now, I'm not saying that is 100% what's possible. I'm identifying the pattern that I recognize, right? And as I would expect you to recognize, because we just laid it out with, not you, Sal, but anybody watching. Again, that's kind of what we were looking for if we were bullish on this stock and we had price action down to 60 something dollars on coin, right? It again, in this circumstance, we knew what had happened, right? But the math remains the same. The math lined up. This saw a 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave move into 250. Yes, it went to almost shit. It almost went to 300. But you get my point, right? Like
Right.
back in time, back here, you could have literally used this math to project a wave three into, yes, 140. I like to target 2618 just personally. It's just kind of what, again, I assume if I see a wave one up, two down, I expect 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I like to look at 2618 on, potentially 3618 just for, I don't know, preference, I guess, because like I again assume we're gonna get a larger wave three if that's the pattern going to play out.
Right. Okay. And so looking at where we're at now today, if that's then the fourth wave going down, at what point then are you like, nope, this is wrong. Like
Sure,
this is incorrect.
sure, absolutely, great.
Like
Um,
what low needs to be taken out,
so
and then what
personally,
obviously the last high to be, the fourth wave.
so personally, I look at the anchored VWAP from the swing low. This is simple to me. This makes mathematical and logical sense that with the anchored VWAP from the swing low being at currently 120, let's just call it 125, right? By the time price would get down to this area, you've got, time, whatever. This is just a guesstimate based on where that anchored VWAP is. So I would look at 125 right now as being a very, very important level for this move up, right? If and again, I don't have it pinned perfectly, but if I were to see a large correction down below 125 and I saw 125 become resistance, I would be questioning if this was just a larger move down to an all-time low or just a correction, right, where it would potentially hold a significant support level, based on our volume profile over here. Point of control is much lower than our anchored view up. Point of control is showing support around 65, $62, right? So if we were to see a correction into $62, kind of just again to invalidate the fact that below the anchored VWAP it's bearish, okay, sure, that could absolutely be a bullish case still, right? So the first thing I look at is anchored VWAP. Second thing I'd be looking at is the volume profile, show where volume is highest concentrated. I like to, use these things in conjunction with price action. So looking at price action here, we had this last massive move off of what, $70? Yeah, right? Let's call it 70, right? So 70 is a big deal, right? We saw price dump way below 70. It came up into 70, saw some resistance here, eventually sprung way back up, came back below, saw more resistance, way lower. Resistance, down, up, support, up, right? 70 is a big deal. That makes sense to me. That's kind of again the second route I would look in this scenario on a macro, very, very macro scale. If coin were to trade below 125 and trade down into $70, I'd be looking, okay, is this bearish or bullish off of $70? You'd expect either to bounce off of 70 or to become resistance for lower. As kind of again, this is how I use volume to make sense of my pattern analysis, and you can call it wave analysis. I don't pretend to be great at fucking Elliott wave. I think learning Elliott wave altogether is dumb at this point because you have something like an anchored VWAP or just simple supply and demand to kind of like make so much more sense of it. Um, you know, uh, the math behind Elliott wave covers all the bases, whereas if you take into account volume, it really like here's like wave two based on Elliott wave should retrace 0.618. So if we measure up to this, actually, this might play out perfectly. 618 held very well on the weekly, but it still traded much below. So if you were to be like, hey, this is wave one up, two down on coin. I want to long the 618 and I'm only going to long the 618. That's it. You got stopped out at $46 before it ran to 260. Right? So
Mm-hmm.
it's just not perfect. I mean, again, on the weekly it looked great. Like you can see, hey, it really did hold that 618 pretty damn well. That was the long signal, boom. So that math does check out. It just really depends on your perception and the way you're looking at it. But I mean, again, and how you apply the math, really. So, um, yeah, that's kind of how the volume. Again, I would in this case use volume to break down the pattern because I
The
use
larger
both.
picture.
Exactly, I use patterns, but more importantly than anything to me is volume. You
Okay, and then so if it did come down to these levels down below, would that just like you know, basically mean that that pattern we're looking at now, that's a three wave up, is that just not it?
so you're
If
saying
it
so
comes
in
down to, let's say, 70, but then it goes up to all-time high,
mhm.
again.
I
Like,
see.
so is that a different pattern then playing out, or is it still the same pattern?
Right, because we were rocking with the impulse originally, right? And I kind of got
Right.
into the volume aspect of it, right? So let's get back to the impulse. So, how do we invalidate the impulse? I think the first thing I'd be questioning myself is under that 125, like I said, that lines up with the perfectly with the, that one. So, yeah, like we said, maybe we're in this wave four now. Now we're in the wave five, right? Let's do that anchored VWAP down here. It held that. The next place I would place an anchored VWAP is the start of this big wave, right? So if this is wave one up, two down, the big start of three, put any anchored VWAP there. Did we hold that on this swing? Where did it bounce? Does that make sense?
Right. Right.
That I love for this wave four. That tells me
Mm,
you're goddamn right. That's a wave four, and this shit's going to the
right.
it's going to
It's
this swing
stopping.
high, right?
Mm-hmm.
That this again, the way we labeled it, we saw one up, two down, the start of three being one up, two down, three, four, banger, clear entry off 150. Now we're over 200. Now we're over 215. Absolutely,
Mm-hmm.
right? And obviously, we're using the power of hindsight to measure a wave five, right? We had originally the wave one up, two down, wave three into 250, wave 3618. Wave
Mm,
four down into our anchored VWAP at the start of wave three. Maybe it came down to maybe it came down to the anchored VWAP at right. Maybe it came down to here. Still not
mm-hmm.
invalidated
Okay.
because it hasn't crossed this high, right? This wave one high,
The one.
right?
Gotcha.
That's that impulse. So I did delete the.
So it could come all the way right above that one
So for this
first move
pattern,
up.
yep, for an impulse, yep, there it is. For an impulse, it cannot cross this. Now, a diagonal, which will not, usually a diagonal will not look like this. I can show you what a diagonal looks like in reality, in practice. This is a powerful wave three, right? And in
Mm,
reality, this might even be, you could even say this is wave three for again, this is more complex bullshit we don't need to get into.
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right now, what would we be looking for with genuine confidence? As long as 150 holds as a wave four, this is on its wave five, right? What would we be
Right.
asking ourselves? Where is this going, right?
Higher highs.
How do we do that? There's math behind that. So is the math clear in terms of there is a way to do math behind measuring a wave four? I don't do it personally.
Mm,
I just think it's too inconsistent, and that's just how I view
okay.
it. That's just how I view it. I think the website that I've shared plenty of times, I think what they would tell you is that you take the bottom of wave three to the top of wave three, and I think it's still valid in this case. And you invalidate below the point 0.5. So actually, it did technically get invalidated. So in
Right.
in this rule, you take the wave one of wave three, so the start of wave three,
Mm-hmm.
to the very top of this, in point 0.5, wave 4 shouldn't cross point 0.5. So either one of two things. This is why I avoid it. One of two things.
Mm-hmm.
Either we are in a much larger wave 3, which should go much higher, and then wave 4 doesn't cross that point 0.5 from there, or this just isn't a wave 4, it's something else. But like I again, I like to simplify things. I like to, anchored VWAP makes so much more sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
That works. So now at this point, how do we measure a wave 5 target? I think this is the
The
best.
Fibonacci extensions, right?
Exactly, the Fibonacci extensions. Now, when we measure the wave 3, we used the 0.786 as a breakout. And without going into that, actually just ignore the 0.786. Let's just ignore that for now. That'll be another day. We have wave 1 up, wave 2 down. How do we measure wave 3? 1618, 2618, 3618. In this case, using hindsight, we saw a move up into 286 and eventually trading back below 250, right, for a bigger correction, right? So that tells me there's a very real possibility that this was a wave 3, because I can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into just about 250 and then a larger correction. At the same time, we use our anchored VWAP from the start of this potential wave 3 to show support around 150, giving a nice move back over 250. Okay, now with all of that data considered, we believe we can visibly see wave 1 up, 2 down, 3 up, 4 down. Now, the math behind this for this impulse, because in theory, this is a 1 up, 2 down, 3 up, 4 down, 5 up. So this should take out highs based on all the things we've broken down, based on all the math we've kind of validated, invalidated with Fibonacci, with volume, XYZ. Okay, this pattern should be going for a 5th high, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Abso-fucking-lutely. Now, we didn't validate that by losing that 150. If this price came below, I'd be like, okay, if it crossed this first high, oh, well, that pattern is definitely not right, right? It's going
Right.
lower. So we're here. We found that support at volume at the wave 4. How do we do this? Fibonacci extension. Again, bottom of the wave, very low. Start of wave 1. Top of wave 3, exactly as Rithwick asked. Top of wave 3, bottom of wave 4. And I'll draw this really quickly just to show you kind of side by side. We have wave 1 up, we have wave 1, 2, we have wave 3 up, same spot, wave 4 down, into the same spot. Wave 5 should go boom, boom, boom. One of these, but let me move this. Let me move this. And then let me correct the math. So wave 5 is targeting 0.618 and 0.786. So this, if this pattern is ending here, send to back. Okay. If this is going to, so this is how I always, when you guys hear me say this is a breakout level, I'm talking about this level right here.
Mm.
The one that I just turned blue, that 0.786. When you hear me talk about if this breaks out above this level, it's going much higher. You hear me say that all the time. Or it's
Mm-hmm.
going to reject this level. Coin in this case, if this pattern plays out, which we have, again, we have pretty decent confidence with X, Y, Z, all these things we just double checked, triple checked, involving volume, involving Fibonacci, whatever. We can expect, and I'll draw it over here just for, to make the math make perfect sense, because it's literally tagged to it. We would be looking at coin making a move into 300, about 302, up to potentially 344 on this scale. Now this again is a weekly scale, it's a very large scale, But on a weekly scale, using this pattern analysis, using the math behind this pattern analysis, we could potentially say that this is making a five a fifth wave move. Now, this will make 5 waves. So we can kind of see on a weekly chart here, it's made 1 up, 2 down. This could very well be on its third wave up, 4 or 5. So you can expect this to make a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave move. Again, just like we saw in the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the 3, it very well
Hmm.
can make a 5 in the 5. But all that being considered, this is our target zone. That's the math behind it. Sorry, that shouldn't be up there on the high side. That would be our target based on again, assuming this is an impulse higher in
Hmm.
5 waves, we would expect a 5 wave move into that zone. Now, again, back to just like what I said, let's assume price went right. So we see this move into this target. That's a fantastic trade. Love that trade. Balls to the walls, fucking great. Especially if you caught it on Friday before that fucking massive. Was it Friday? I mean, even just last week. All that considered, if this is bullish to $300 to $340, how do we know to short this or not? Because that's right. That's the next trade essentially. Like if you're not long, for me, I'm looking at this zone. Do I short it or not? Right. This is again, like I said, that breakout level. If you hold above, and yes, you can trade below, you can come back below and still go back up and then trade back into here and go higher. If you see price, this is what happened on drug, the $53 level. We traded above 53. We pulsed hard as fuck above 53. It was like this came all the way back down to 24, but eventually
Hmm.
broke back above 53, and you literally, I think 53 was support to the dollar for the move back up to 60 to 70 or 80. What was it? 79. Now do GME and make it make sense. Let's do it. Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Does that generally make sense? I mean,
No, 100%.
I know it's complex. Like I promise you, I know I'm not good at fucking breaking this shit down. Like it's a system in my head the way like, and again, the website I share too is also like not accurate to what I like the way I look at it. Like I built a system in my head. I do, like I said, throw in the anchored VWAP. That tells me a lot, right? That told me fucking long the piss out of 150 for fucking coin, and goddamn, look at it, right? That's
Hmm.
clear as day in terms of this analysis that we're looking at. And no, I didn't hit that trade, but again, in hindsight, you see it so clearly. I mean, again, even like you saw the rejection back below 200, like where's support? Anchored VWAP. Boom, you found it. So I have a
Right.
system that implements patterns with volume that helps me identify or whether it's validate or invalidate these patterns, right? And again, this one being the impulse in 5 waves higher. So yeah, like I said, I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, definitely let me know.
Can you look at GameStop next?
Banned. Yeah, I'm gonna look at GameStop. I will. Most definitely.
And then Serve.
Swerve. Swerve I've broken down hella times on chat or on stream, but I will. Don't worry. But also
I'm just messing with you.
oh no, okay. Fucking motherfucker. Sal, so does that
Yep.
make as far as like math behind an impulse, how I kind of use them systemically through the waves as they go. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Definitely. And so looking at this here, then if this does break through that level and it becomes explosive,
Hmm.
would that possibly be shaping out to be then a wave three on a much larger scale?
Absolutely. That's exactly what my mind goes to, right? So if it does
Okay.
break this, then I stick with my wave 1, wave 2, and I just imagine wave 3 breaking for higher. So then that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that we saw was probably just a different breakdown of a larger wave 3. Make sense?
Yes.
Okay, beautiful. Beautiful. Um Again, for others, I hope that makes sense. If not, listen back to it. I definitely plan on doing more of this type of stuff, breaking down and planning on getting better at it because I know I'm not fucking good at it yet or as good as I could be. So, um yeah, I mean the impulse like that's the math behind it. I hope I did it in a reasonable time that like people can like refer back to and shit. I mean, it probably was pretty long, wasn't it?
No, I think that that was pretty good. What was it, like
We'll get better. We'll
an
get better.
hour and a half, maybe?
It was
No, it was
long.
like an hour.
Okay. Yeah.
That's not so bad.
We'll get better next time. Yeah, I'll break down GME, I'll break down other stuff. Sal again, I'd be happy to go into further shit, as we go on. Um but I think as far as this will be even easier for me to clip. Like it's only an hour instead of 8 hours. So if I did want to go back. I'm gonna go. I need to take a fucking piss, and then I'm gonna slam this other 50 milligrams of edibles, and then we'll dive into GME and other shit. So I'll be right
Work.
back.
All right. All right. We'll hold it down.
I can lower. My bad. The sound's my fault. It's not Sal's fault. If Sal's shit's a little too loud, my shit
My
might
bad.
be.
My bad.
No, it's not your fault at all. It's definitely mine. I'm in control of all that shit. So hopefully that's a little better. Let us know if it's not. Yeah, I mean, I hope this is beneficial to some people. This is a pretty in-depth way of what I do on a minute by minute basis. We're looking at coin weekly, and I do this shit exactly as I explained it with the exact math that I'm explaining in on a 1 minute scale or up as high as it goes. So um, I hope I'm making sense of the math. Like I said, please review back, and I definitely plan to do this, enough times that I can explain it well. So, um, anything else, Sally? Any other questions? Or I mean,
Dude, that
do
was
you wanna
great.
do
No,
you
you
wanna
broke
look at
that
anything else?
impulse. If you got time, I do. It would be nice to shift gears a little bit.
Let's do
And
this
coin looks
first.
like a great setup. But I was thinking, and we don't have to go too deep, but saying that talking about the market being at all-time high and most things, a lot of things being at all-time high, taking a look at a chart that's pretty much there at all-time high and
Uh,
maybe breaking it down for what you look to see for breakout or rejection,
yeah. So I
like
mean,
at SPY or
we
something.
can let's look at SPY and kind of go through my theory and kind of what real quick before we dive into Jamie, where I'm at with this because Um, yeah, I mean, dude, I've said I shared in our Discord. Let that go out of here. He wants out. Hold on, my bad. Okay. So yeah, I mean, as far as right, so I imagine your thought is like, okay, how do you get levels when we're at all time high, right? Because I've had this quite a bit of times. It's like, you know, supply and demand completely gets fucking thrown out the window when you're at all time high levels, and
Mhm.
there really is no resistance, right? How do you identify any, when you have no previous price action? So again, it's the same thing with the Fibonacci thing. I mean, realistically, I mean, I know for the majority of y'all, if anybody's been here for long enough, um, we've been calling for $600 on SPY for quite some time, and I broke down why a couple times, but again, it's exactly the math that I just laid out, just through the history of SPY. You take your wave one up, two down, go all the way to, and you know what? I'm kind of even, to be honest with you, I think we're gonna see just a massive correction, and then we're gonna be headed right back to all time highs. I think we're in just a massive wave three again. What we just laid out, right? Do it on SPY. Draw the impulse out on SPY the way I mean the math from all-time lows, or at least it's not all-time lows because I think is back to 1993, and I want to say this is like what what was I gonna say? I want to say this is like the start of like computer, or like the majority of the computer algorithmic shit, but I could be completely wrong. I don't fucking know what I'm talking about. Either way, let's try to measure out a wave three and see what these wave three levels potentially would be if we're in just a massive wave three. I mean, again, anybody who's following along, tell me this shit ain't fucking crazy. Like I mean, like tell me that if you draw exactly the math that I just told you to do from all-time low on SPY up to its wave one high in March of 2000. You got the dot-com bubble. You have an ABC down to the December 2000, or sorry, whatever, 2008 crash being a wave one up, two down, and we perfectly rejected wave three top at 3618, $475. I mean, that's some algo shit. That's crazy
Yeah.
to me. That's crazy to me. It should be crazy to you because look at this fucking pattern. This is a weekly. I could bounce out to the monthly chart and show you that we're playing out the same exact fucking pattern that we just broke down on. What XYZ, same pattern that I show y'all on the 1 minute chart on every single pattern, every chart we trade. Now, could this be a much larger wave three that goes much fucking higher? Absolutely, right? But the
Mhm.
math still maths, right? Um, so that all being said, that's how you do it, right? Like that's how you guess, back in 2015, I would have told you that since we broke 1618, 2618. So actually we didn't. I would have told you that since we broke this 786 breakout level, which was the rejection from the 2008 crash, right? Again, that's how I use the math. That's also a
Mm.
big time highlight real quick. When I tell y'all breakout or rejection level, the same math told y'all told us that the 2008 crash was happening. The same math that told you coin was going to go XYZ, the same math that told you drug was going to go XYZ, told you that that fucking rejection was a rejection and that shit dropped 2008 crash. It's the math, right? So the math is fucking math in here. At the same time, when you break that level above, in this case, right, and even retested it here, based on how I use this, confirmed that at first 240 would be the 250 would have been the target because again we're on the wave 1 up, 2 down. Breakout for 3 is that level. In this case, targets are 1618, 2618, 3618, 4618, blah blah fucking blah, right? Played out over time. So again, all-time highs in 2015. You're asking me, how do you find your targets? Again, anchored VWAPs from swing lows, find significant support levels, blah blah blah. But target wise, when you're using, right, check that out, swing low, bounce, it's these levels. So wave 3, again, wave 3, when you confirm breakout for wave 3, 1618, 2618, 3618, 4618, and hurry up. Also note how anchored VWAP from swing low acted as support. Fantastic when you're trying to identify patterns. I'm telling you, it's literally a cheat code. I've up until this like past like 12 years is unfucking real how much these anchored VWAPs have helped me identifying where we are in patterns and whatnot. And again, like obviously played out this oh my god. Eventually rejected 3618. Go to oh my goodness. Here we go. And here we are, right? So oh fuck you. I'll do quick math and then we'll move on to GME. If this was 1 up, 2 down, that 3 was into here and 4 down here, these are our targets. This is the math we're dealing with right now. We're looking at 0.618, a wave 5, right? So again, in theory, based on the math that we just covered on coin, we saw a wave 1 up, 2 down, 3 into 3618, very small 4, which is a big question mark. I don't think so. I think we see a much larger 4 from much higher. But let's just assume wave 4, where are we targeting wave 5? It's 614 to 686. That's where we would assume a top would be set for this 5th wave, given this would all be an impulse into a 5th wave here. Now, either way, if we see a correction from here, we'll do the same fucking thing using anchored VWAPs from significant swing lows to identify support levels and identify if we're going to see another 5th wave higher into another all-time high, or if we're going to continue breaking levels down to lower lows. Now, all that considered, do we have any questions?
Nope, I think you nailed it then.
I've been rambling and I kind of dove into it real quick to move on. So I
Yeah,
apologize. Definitely keep asking questions. I'm happy to fucking do this shit, obviously as time allows. Because it's fun. It's fucking fun. It's like video games.
of course. So then, with where we're at, if we see a clean rejection here, then and it comes back down to that 618, 3618,
It could,
we're gonna be breaking down, you assume, or
if we broke it, so I would set an anchor VWAP from here, showing our most significant support since October 2022 being around 450, right? I don't personally like, what do I think is gonna happen? I think this is a much larger wave 3. I think this massive wave 1, 2, I think we could even goddamn, we could be going so high. I mean, you could break down these. I also will do this start of wave 3, try to identify the top of wave 3 using the same mat again. Like it gets very complex, and I don't care to dive into it because I know people aren't even following the first breakdown. So without explaining that, this is how I break down the idea that we're going so much higher, is because this confirms so much higher above this level. We're so much higher above it. Then I move it up, right? I adjust my targets and like, okay, if this was a 4, then we're in the math that we just talked about. We're above 555, which targets 600 on a macro scale. So ultimately I continue to move my VWAPs up. I remain bullish until we tag the next 618 realistically. Like I shared in Discord, I think it was above 580. No, our high is 575. Am I tripping? Oh, this isn't back in time. What the fuck? Ridiculous. Above 580, like we can see so much higher. So we're above 580, we're at 586. So much higher equals what? $600, right? So that's where we're headed, essentially. 620 by end of November, maybe. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, potentially, right? So like here in this case, I would try to break down a 5 in this fifth wave. If this was to play out this way, where would we see a high? Shit, dude. Like I honestly think we're gonna have to adjust up for a larger pattern, and it's gonna play out something like, or the impulse is higher. I mean, right now, based on the data we have, actually, I should set it here. My most bearish scenario would actually reject. Actually, that's not true. Sorry, let me just make sure I get these right. And this is on a week daily scale, so this is actually probably off. Would be around 600, yeah, $3 would be a rejection around there. And realistically, I think what we see is a rejection around here, large down here, and then we set up for a much higher high, and do something along these lines. Because as much as we think the world's ending, I don't think the world's gonna end quite yet. So I think we do something like this and see the world really end at some point.
Mm.
But
So it seems really important then to look at things from a real macro perspective when you're talking about Elliott waves.
it depends on your trading. It depends on what you're trading. I really like making money on 1 to 15 minute. Like I really like doing that. Then it becomes so much more about the pattern. It becomes so much more about identifying the pattern and placing those things rightly, in the right places, as opposed to like I've been thrown for a loop. I'll admit to you, I've been all over the place, since we've been into 580, because to be honest, I assumed we were gonna reject. We've continued higher, which makes me think this is really just, this might just be the start of a run, as wild as that seems. Um, again, like I do the same exact math I just showed you guys on many other scales, and on this
Mm.
scale right here, it's showing 581, 582 as a breakout. We found support. I've been talking about 582 all week. Literally all last week I talked about 582. We found massive support, and it just looks like we're headed for another wave higher into, potentially into 630, 6 where would this, yeah. I mean, above 600, well above, is kind of where I am in breaking things down now. We're in territory where anything could happen, and we could just see, let's just say World War III really starts, a nuke drops, and we fucking dump. Is that possible? We declared that possible above 555, in my opinion. That's possible at any time. Now we're above 673. This thing's going to thousands. I
Yes.
don't think we get there, right? So I could basically say, for this move, based on what I'm seeing now, I think we see a top below 673. And I would break down the smaller patterns to identify, like I said, that 582 level as very important in terms of a short-term breakout, or at least short to medium-term breakout, which is what's happening right now, which is why I remain bullish above 582. War is also bullish. Hell yeah, you're right. Ford Mods always has been. I mean, look at the stock. Look at this shit's literally only ever gone up. There's been plenty of wars. So great point, but like, yeah, you know what I mean? Like it's step by step for me. I trade level to level. I invest on macro, very macro charts, like UPST. UPST is my second largest holding fucking ever. And because I identified the probability that this was a very large wave 1 up, 2 down, I bought the absolute fucking piss out of what I imagined to be the wave 2 low, which was near $20 or just below $20. Um, I believe we're on a wave 3 so much fucking higher. I didn't need to, this is coins chart. Um, prior to its move into 200. It's it's the same exact chart to me. You've got UPST here with this first move up. You've got coin here back in. That's the same chart to me. Now I use math to validate and invalidate, but if you try to tell me that that wasn't identical, I'd call you retarded. So I 100% expect a wave 3 type move out of UPST, exactly how we've started to see, or at least have seen to this point on coin, simply based on math and volume. But I mean, you see these patterns on 1 minute charts, you see them on weekly charts, you see them on monthly charts. That's why I invest on weekly charts, UPST, GME, other shit, along those lines. Those are my two biggest shits, but like I like to, think in longer term on those types scales, and then I like to trade zero DTEs on 1 minute 1 minute spy pattern. Is pretty much how I look at it, but it's literally the same math behind it all, in the same process that I just laid out. I identify impulses. It doesn't matter if the impulse is going down, right? Like this right here on UPST was an impulse, believe it or not. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into the low just below $20. That was an impulse down, and that acted because anybody who fucking watches streams, I love you. A, B, and what the fuck is C? C is 5 down, and that's impulse. An impulse down, and that triggered the long, and now you see what's going on with UPST.
Beautiful.
I mean, it really is. If it, like, I only wish for all of you that I was better at explaining it. I really do, because it is the most beautiful thing. I mean, besides life itself, you know what I mean? It really is. Like it really, it's. I mean, it is that nature, it's the beauty you see in the universe. Like you see it in stocks too, and the only benefit is that you can make money out of it in this instance, But it's the exact
So you
same
like
thing.
that setup where you're catching that wave 2 at the bottom.
There's
Obviously,
no
it's
better
tough to
way.
really time the bottom, but if you could catch that the start of the third wave,
Yep.
you're set.
Yep. There's no better. There's no better trade. I say that all the time. There's no better trade than the wave 3. No better opportunity to make money on the 1 minute, on the weekly, on the monthly, on the fucking history, right? Like I mean, even zoom it out further. No better opportunity to make money than the wave 3 because it's the most directional, the strongest motivation. Like it's going up,
And
and
is that strictly on an impulse wave, or the other
it's a
waves
good
as well?
question. So the only other wave you would see a bullish third is a diagonal, so it's circumstantial. So it is just the impulse. The impulse third wave is the best opportunity to make money regardless. Diagonals for me have become great ways to make money because I can identify them so easily. Or at least the potential for them, because they're so like drug. We saw drugs diagonal with support based on a fucking anchored VWAP. It was off of the $24 level. Let me break this down. So this was a very small scale trade. This was on the 3 minute time frame. We literally were watching the anchored VWAP from the low. No, that's not it. Not from so from probably the start of the wave 3 low, which would have been so again, wave start low when volume starts to come in. Volume starts to come in here again, wave start low, and then you can go on so on and so forth. But those are the important spots to show because volume comes in on these significant points. Those are the spots to put it because it's a volume indicator.
Mm.
I think this one actually because it was such a strong move up. Put it here. I don't remember where I fucking put it, honestly. Maybe not. Either way, we were looking at 24. Kind of makes sense. It's 22 though. Where was it? It must have been this. Wow, this was a really small scale. It was this move here. So this was a diagonal in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is a breakout like that. So diagonals are just 3 peaks. I just identify them as 1, 2, but like you have 1, 2, 3, 4. Your fifth wave is either a breakout or rejection. And I always draw this trend line here.
Mm.
So in this case, we saw this trend line act as support for the breakout, right? In this case, obviously, again, hindsight. So the way I draw these is always if you see these two consistent peaks, expect a third one. And that third one is either going to be, again, a breakout where the trend acts as support for higher, or it
Mm-hmm.
rejects the trend and trend changes. That is
Mm.
a 5 out of 5 fucking setup every single fucking time. It's so good.
Mm.
I love it. It's literally diagonals have become my favorite. Like they're easier to identify for me than impulses are. Because I don't know if an impulse
Mm.
is going to be a rejection in 3 waves or an impulse to 5. This I can count 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, we're going for 5. That's money. You know. Um.
So there's a diagonal within the impulse.
Yeah. Right. Right. And like we have leading diagonals, which we talk about all the time, which again are like where you break out, right? Like leading diet 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, pull back, and then just spring.
Right.
Like
And then so the fact that that broke and got bullish, but then now it's below, do you still go, obviously you shift a little bit, but
mm-hmm. Yeah, so in
so
this
you
case
kind of
it was
just,
such a small time frame, right? It was a
oh
three
yeah, we're looking
minute.
at the 3 minute.
So this thing, that pullback went from $34 to 60.
God damn.
So that was wave high. That was 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That was right because
Boom, wave high onto the next
you can see
pattern,
right here,
basically.
right? You have 1, 2, 3, 4. Check this out. Start of a new wave, right? Start of a new wave right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. End of the move.
Mm.
End of the move. End of the move. $60 back down to 20. Right? End of the move. Where did it find support? Anchored VWAP ish. Actually over here. This was after hours, so this is I like after hours. If you took off regular trading hours, same thing. Support, another wave up, right? Again, this being a 3 minute pattern, I mean, you can't be mad about a 22 to $60 move off of this 1, 2, 3, 4, buy that low, boom, 5 into 60. Like, dude, wild. That shit was fucking wild. um,
Seriously.
but again, I mean, yes, time frame matters, right? Like you have to have expectations. I always like the simple way to invalidate a pattern, anchored VWAP. If you start a pattern from a significant low and it loses that, just look away. There are instances, maybe 3, maybe even 5 out of 10 times where you will lose the anchored VWAP and spring back up, but that's just risk like you don't need to take. There's plenty of instances where look at fucking drug. Anchored VWAP from the low, road anchored VWAP
Oh,
all the fucking way up. Never even lost it. Your stop loss could have been here at any point, and the bitch ran to fucking God knows. 79 fucking dollars. Never lost anchored low VWAP. Anchored VWAP from the low. Not once. Not even the site, not even this high from what was it? From $4. Didn't even lose it once. Volume is your fucking friend and a half, dude.
So you
Literally.
kind of saw the volume coming in first, and that's what
Somebody,
got you looking at drug?
dude, yeah, somebody had asked what I saw about Drug. I'll tell you exactly what I saw about Drug. Drug made a move on Monday, October 14th. It made a move from a pre-market low of $1.25 up to $3.64. That was on Monday, October 14th. It had this volume spike. It had this volume spike right here. Very significant. Nice move. Monday morning, look at what the fuck was going on.
Mm.
We were trading
Damn.
below $4 at 10 times the volume that we saw on this move, 300%. You see this shit, you buy. like, dude, this had unbelievable volume. Anybody can listen back to the fucking live stream. I literally highlighted. I said, day over day volume. This is wild. This volume is insane. This was the way I look at it is again back to our impulse. You had wave 1 up on that day, 2 down. A characteristic of a wave 3 is massive, massive volume, right? Stronger volume than that of a wave 1. Wave 3 is telling you right in your, like, swinging its dick in your face at this point, right here at $4. And subsequently, we ran to 60 that same fucking day.
The rest was history.
I mean, like, it really is that simple. As complicated as it may seem, or as chaotic as it may seem, like, how did that happen? Motherfucker, volume and nothing else.
Volume.
Look at that shit. Yes, it's a 1 out of, million trade, 1 out of million move, but it was not hard to spot. And shout out Dickhead. It was Dickhead that called it out. He said, take a look at drug. We looked at it at $4. We had a target of 9. It gapped above $9. So we adjusted our targets from fucking 12. We had a target of 25. It gapped through 25 and it just kept fucking going, dude. Unbelievable.
Epic.
But because of that volume and nothing else. Because of that
Wow.
volume and nothing else. Not nothing else. Maybe there were other factors, but like the volume told you. That's how you knew. That's how we knew. That's how we found the drug chart. I see a bunch of people asking. That's how we found the drug chart. Nothing else than simple, regular ass white boy volume. Like regular, like on every chart you've ever seen, but you ignore the fuck out of it, right? You just look at it going up and you're like, oh, like, let me just ignore what's going on right here. This little thing that's right below your chart on every fucking chart I know you've ever looked at, it's right there. And it told you what the fuck's going on here, because there weren't as many people interested at $2 as there are at $4, at $5. Not even close. So there you go. Boom. That's how you can think of it, right? There were not as many people interested below 2 as there were above 3 and 4. And then there you go. Boom. Fuck. Again, that was a once in a lifetime fucking move trade. But what to look for? That's what. Maybe it doesn't run to 60. Maybe it runs to 10. 3 to 10 deal, right?
For sure. So are you looking at that as like the third wave up?
Drug right now. This can't be updated, is it? Because it did not make a move back up there. I must have logarithmics activated. I honestly think that drugs headed down. I mean, let's throw what's an anchor view up here, show. Yeah, if it's below $50, I think it's headed back here. I think it's got another leg in it though eventually. Like on a macro chart, I think it's a diagonal. So I see 1, 2, 3, 4. I think we could get a 5th high into maybe 100 before either a rejection or a breakout. So I'm looking at oops, I think it was $30. That's 25. Yeah, 25.30. So I'm gonna be watching like I'm gonna be watching it next week. I mean, let's see what fucking happens, but because it could just fucking this wave could be done. It could be just a really trendy diagonal, and and go from there. So we'll see. I'll get in on leg 5 for sure.
Is somebody's mic on? Somebody else's mic on?
Appreciate you, gang. Can we investigate the waves within wave 3 of SPY and reach a conclusion? Ah, man, dude. If I tried to do that, I'd drive myself crazy. I'd be here all night. That was me 582. Bullish as fuck above 582. If we lose 582, we ask ourselves, we reevaluate. That's how I'm looking at it right now, because ultimately I like to simplify shit. I don't like to break it down. Breaking it down drives you crazy, and also it increases the probability that you're wrong because it can change so quickly. So I mean, at that, I love patterns, right? Patterns help me, right? In a let's look at, okay, and we'll hop right into GME and then we'll be done right after this. So in this pattern right here, a diagonal, how do I simplify this to make sense? I'm going to draw a blank slate right here. Let's draw a complicated pattern and I'll explain to you how it's simple. And they break down. Okay, let's do this flat. Flat's not super complicated, but it's not simple. We have this flat, right? Flat is an easy one because it's ABC. I talk about this all the time. Talk about this all the fucking time. C is what? C is what? We have A.
A 5-wave down.
Let's go. A down, B up, C. A, B, C in 3. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right? Okay. Now, how do we measure a 5? We just figured it out. Just invert it. That's it. That's how you figure out these downward moves. So, where's an example of when we just fucking hit? My original coin one was fucking goated. My original coin trade right here. That same C we just all drew up. This was the one I hit. Remember that wave 1 up we talked about? 1 up. We have an A down, B up. 1, 2, 3, 4. New low is 5. Guess what happens right after? Right? So all you have right here is a very simple, although complex. If you don't know what to look for, you don't know what you're looking at. You longed the fuck out of $56 into 60, held only to get bagged. Now, if you knew what you were looking for, if you knew, I see a wave 1 up, I see an A down, I see a fake out and a B. I need 5 waves down in order to long this. You got fucking boner pants when you saw that shit sweep $50 for that 5th low and you longed the fucking piss out of coin. And guess what you got rewarded as? Wave fucking 3 starting up 100% run. Now again, very simple pattern. If it helps, change your shit to the line. It doesn't help me. That shit's weird looking. That doesn't even fucking cross the low there. They're cheating. That's cheating. This is also why I love candles and I keep on extra hours, because these lows matter to me. If I don't see this 1, 2, 3, 4, like to this point on coin, I don't have that 5 out of 5 confidence. I don't have that A plus setup that this shit's going to the moon. I see 3 waves down in this case. And I see the market makers faking you the fuck out, thinking you see 1, 2, 3 breakout. Right? again, hindsight, but this is the type of shit that like that's an A plus setup to me when I see a fifth wave down and it sweeps that low. A perfect example actually that I did catch, because well actually I did catch that shit on coin, is fucking SoFi. Wait, is this the right chart? No. Oh, this is reversed. Sorry, fuck. SoFi, here we go. Same deal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up, A down, B up, 1, 2, 3, 4, swept the gap fill, 5 up. Now again, I'm not saying this is easy because it takes practice and it takes time. You are right. It's not rocket science, but honestly, what is hard is getting at your level of trade psychology. I mean, it takes, dude. I mean, fuck, yeah. You're not lying, but I've been here for a long time. I've taken, like I've said, I've shared. I mean, I've lost hundreds of thousands of dollars trying to learn this shit. Um, you're right though. My point is that like it definitely is not easy. The psychology is extremely important, and I feel like really only yourself can teach you your own trade psychology. That's the point of I don't know, psychology. I feel like is it's like nobody's going to understand your own problems better than you, or are going to be able to have an impact on your own problems other than you. It goes personal, cycle, whatever. um Absolutely, Anthony. Certain stocks are easier to read than others. Why I don't look at why I tell y'all fucking don't send me these liquid bullshit charts because I can't fucking read them. I don't know what the fuck I'm looking at. Like I don't want to read that shit. That shit sucks. There's also just no volume, no real opportunity to make money. So there's other reasons, but like some patterns are easy as fuck, bro. Yeah, and also you can just learn one chart. Like you can just learn one chart, one algorithm, whatever you want to call it, and just like practice that shit and get great at it. Yeah, Dragon getting deep. Nah, dude, I'm kind of hammered. I'm also baked as fuck. Going over patterns. But I mean, this has been fun. I just hope people fucking, I hope I'm not too retarded. I hope some people can take something from it. More than anything, but that's what I'm. If nothing less, it's just practice for me explaining this shit. I'll eventually be able to explain it to you guys. Might take like a couple years. You're just gonna learn it on your own from not from me. All right, GME. Goddamn, you son of a bitch. Um, let's do it. 21 this week, man. We're either gonna. I promise you. We're either gonna have with the volume increase too into the close last week. We're either gonna have a really good week or a really bad week. I really do think. I've been seeing a lot of people talking about bear flags because a lot of accounts have been putting like I don't I don't do shit. I don't do bear flags. I do the patterns that I just showed you. Bear flags are like elementary. In terms of pattern analysis, not that they don't make you money or anything. I just mean, I like to dive into the patterns deeper than calling it a bear flag or bull fag. Um, so I mean, 21's a big fucking deal. I mean, the same math as I've shared plenty of times, right? Like 21 is either gonna hold or we're gonna break down. I have hope that the pattern I shared previously is just taking a while to play out. And we get a very sharp spike because I think that's what it'll be. It'll be like a pretty similar to boom, 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 boom. Um, that's how our moves up literally go. They only go up very sharp. So above or below 21. If we lose 21, then we're headed to 20. I could definitely, absolutely see this double bottom playing out, right? We trade into like just below 21 and double bottom out of here. That's absolutely possible. Ultimately, again, like wave wise, we've, I mean, shit, weekly, right? Weekly, all time low, one up, two down. We're in a massive three. I've shared plenty of times. I think this shit's going well above $200. That's the reason why. It's just macro. How long does it take? I don't fucking know. You tell me. Break down the smaller pattern. I absolutely see the validity of sweeping towards 17, that gap fill. It makes a ton of sense. I'd like to fill the gap so we didn't have to come back for it at any point. But if we're not going to fill it, we're gonna hold 20, hold 21 ish, hold 20 ish. Maybe do the double bottom, like this and bounce. Definitely possible. I don't know what catalysts we have or don't have. All this to say, as far as the waves and like structure matters, if we sweep this low, right? If we come to sweep the low we put in early August, structure will change, my targets will change. As we remain above this low, even if we come to 19, we could even come to 18 for whatever reason. And reclaim 20 and remain bullish above 20, then the targets will remain the same in the medium term. All that to say, we're not going to see fucking shit happen until 26 breaks. I've highlighted how important 26 is number of times. I personally, doesn't really matter if we go down to, I don't think we'll ever see $10 again, ever. My good buddy Trey doesn't think we're going to see below a quick gap fill of that 17 gap. I think we could see potentially below 16 or around the 16-15 range, but I also believe it would be very, very short lived. If we get 1650, I'm gonna buy an uncomfortable amount. Yeah, dude. I'm with you, dude. I like gambling big money on awesome setups, and that would be, yeah, finally, damn, my bad, G. That would be one of them. I could absolutely join you in that. That would be one of them. Absolutely. Anything below 20 to me. The thing with GME's algorithm is, unfortunately, we could trade below 26 for, fuck. I don't even want to guess on the amount of time. We traded below anchored VWAP. Let's just see. Anchored VWAP from all time high. For we're still below it. So it's been coming up on 3 years in November. That hurts.
Yep.
Anchored VWAP is showing $38.50, $39 right now. So we have traded below that with quite a few rejections. 1, 2, 3, 4. Off of very, very strong moves in the past 3 years. But if you don't think that we can't reject that shit another 5, 6, 7, 8 times, I'm sad to say. Yeah, I'm sad to say. I disagree. Now, if and when we do break that level, well, let's go. Like, that's it. But just know that's important. That's all I'm saying. I don't know when. I only like patterns. 100% bullish as fuck above $20. Let's just say that. 1,000,000% bullish above 10.
So you kind of think we're possibly catching the bottom of a wave 3 or the
I'm
start of a wave 3?
The best scenario, yeah. The best scenario is the lows in. We're going to remain above 21. We're going to reclaim 22, and we're on our way to 28, 33, and 38, which that 38 lines up perfectly with that anchored VWAP. So I would assume, on a very broad scale, not to say that we're going to make a move straight to 38, but I would assume we're going to make a move into 38. Now, what happens there? Do we reject very hard? Trade back down into 20? Very, very real possibility. like unbelievably real possibility. Like probably what I expect to happen if we remain above 21. I would expect to move into 38, 40, give or take. It could be 45, XYZ. We made a move into 65 and traded back fucking down to 20. Yes, dilution. Yes, what the fuck ever. I mean, argue about that on your own time. I just like patterns. Um, until we break 39, 40, we aren't going to see 100. Obvious, right? Like, y'all can make fun of me all you want, but like there's a lot more to it than just simple addition. But yeah, but I mean, I 100% think we're gonna see the price action we want to see eventually. Does it happen this year, next year, off of a catalyst or just naturally? I don't know. I encourage everybody to look at Tesla's chart since inception, and kind of manage your expectations, I guess I would say. Obviously, hope for the fucking best, like I will. Oh my god. But yeah, eventually GME's going over $200, and you can remember me and call me when it does. Or actually, when support becomes 215. When we find support at $215, the same way we found support at, call it $20. Eventually, call me. How do you get the yellow line for your Anchor View app? It's just Anchor View app over here, volume based projection. Oh fuck. Rithwick never came through, did he?
No. Why was he talking in the chat or something?
No, yeah, he was in the chat. He was asking some question. I would just message him. Wait, what the hell? Oh, tripping. Yeah, I mean, if anybody else wants to hop up and ask anything, like feel free to.
Yeah, bro. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to come chat with us.
Dude, I just really hope it.
What a blessing.
I just really hope it helped in any way at all. Seriously.
No, honestly, you really can find that information just for free going off like you're putting out right now. So it honestly is a blessing.
Oh, Rithwick, what's up, dude? Are you there?
Yeah, bro. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to come chat with us.
I just got some. I think we got some echo from you, bro. But thank you, Sal. No, I appreciate you, bro, for real. Oh, Rithwick, what's up?
What's up?
Yes, bro. Thank you so much for taking.
Rithwick, I think you gotta mute the stream or something. We're getting some bad echo from you.
I thought that was me for a sec.
I think
Nah.
we're Gucci now.
I mean, how much longer are you gonna be doing this tonight?
I don't know. Probably not long. I'm pretty. I should be probably asleep soon. Damn, it's 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
I do go to bed. I've been going to bed pretty early lately. I've been feeling good about it. But I mean, what's up? I'll answer a quick question from you, and then I'll probably wrap it up if you have one.
Yeah, I threw up a chart for Soxel.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. That's
one of the chats. Yeah, if you could take a look at that.
Yeah, I'll pull it up right now. That's right. And I did look at it, so I'll let me pull it up yours next to mine on the chat or the what's it called, and I'll show you what I would compare it or look at it as too, because I think the way you had it. So my thing with people, well, I don't know. I mean, you label it however you want. I think you labeled it correctly in terms of like looking for a move. Whether you label it ABC, XYZ, what the fuck ever, I don't think matters. I mean, it doesn't matter to me. I don't think it matters for trading, obviously, if you know what you're looking at. So you're
Mm.
saying, so it sucks out. What is this? 5-day 15. Okay,
I
15.
think this was the 15-minute.
Yeah, cool. So I'd say right off the bat, I guess looking at the yeah, with that, it could be getting a diagonal into that because just looking at a kind of a larger scale, could be a diagonal run back up into 40, which would match with. I mean, you've broken it down on a smaller scale. So, first of all, what I would do is look at a larger scale. Personally,
Yeah.
that's how I do it. So looking at the small scale you have highlighted would be this smaller move from 4 up to 38 back down. And I like the way you labeled it, I guess. Mm, So technically, yeah, for a diagonal, right? For a diagonal, and I feel like it. Mm, I'd probably be wrong in saying this, but this seems a little, and I'm purely just looking at the pattern. Uh, uh, since it's not expanding like to the downside, like okay, let's say this swept down to fucking like 33, and like we were trying to see another move up to here. I mean, even then, I wouldn't be like crazy about it, but so I'm looking at the pattern right now. Primarily, like I said, I like to look at the patterns. I like to say, okay, is this a diagonal? How would I validate this being a diagonal back into 40, 42, right? Because this would basically be the move on a firm that we just caught. Um,
Yeah.
and one also, I think everybody should take a look at, that I'm kind of looking at. I don't think Vinny didn't think that, well, I didn't either, but we kind of talked about, I didn't think that the data necessarily matched this move, but I think Microsoft may be in for a very similar move. Um, Kind of a diagonal pattern, right? You got these two highs. I would again anchored view up for Microsoft off the swing lows like 415. So for me, I'm bullish above 415 with the potential of this thing seeing, another third high into here, exactly like we're looking at on Soxel, kind of, right? It's got this consolidation range. It kind of sold off into here.
Mhm. Yeah.
So kind of see, I guess if I was going to be devil's advocate, I'd look at this and say this is going to break down more because of this big sharp sell off. I see a damn, because that could be C. It's a tough one. So let's use anchored view ops and find support. Because I could see either way. I could see this being a larger C, right? You have A down, B up, C down, which is larger C into like 26 and up. Or the one up, two down, one up, ABC, which would have been completed with a 5 here, A down, B up, that B that we've talked about, right? That B that takes out that A
Mhm.
high, C down in 5, because I counted 5. Absolutely counted 5 in here, right? You've got one,
Yeah.
2, 3, 4,
Two,
5
three, 4, 5. Yeah.
clean, right? So the start of the 2, I like the idea, right? So essentially what I
Yeah,
would
that's what I
look,
was because
yeah,
of that 5 down. That's what I was thinking about going long. Like,
yep,
if it ever yeah. I mean, it's like right around the VWAP, so like
yep, yeah,
pretty close
exactly.
enough anyway. But
Right, so that swing low from that 2570-ish low, whatever. So essentially in this pattern, I would say absolutely validated above 35. As long as this holds 35, I would look for at least this being maybe that fifth wave in the diagonal that you're looking for. I could
Mhm.
also see again above 35. Now below 35, I would just avoid, right? Kind of like the gamma levels, right? Like if it's and
Yeah,
if it's
and I
below
think
35,
and
you
when I
branch
checked
down.
it, uh, sorry, yeah, when I checked it, Vanna has like room down to 30, so that's why I was like, okay, if it
Yep.
loses like if we touch like 34 or something, we'll just cut it and leave.
Yep. That's exactly how I would look at it is give me the momentum trade above 35 where this would be a one down, one up or either the diagonal like you've kind of outlined or yeah, I don't like the 3 up. You're right. You could kind of count this ugly 4, but I think you've counted it right. I just to be on the safe side, I'm with you. I'd say above that 35, you see the potential for that fifth wave up where you could be getting that leading diagonal while you remain in range. But yeah, below 35, I think that Vanna is dragging it. Or, I don't know if Vanna
Yeah,
drags, but it's going to see close to at least 30, maybe 32.
yeah, yeah. That sounds pretty good.
Yeah. No, I mean, like I said, the way you labeled it, like, I like to label the same way, right? Like the idea that you're going to see a 5 in direction of trend and a 3 in the way you labeled it, right? So like that 3 being complete, if that 3 is complete, then that's money because you see on that small scale that um you've basically got a 3 up, 3 down, 3 up, whatever the triangle pattern was it? So you can triangles are 3 3 3 3 3 or diagonals are 3 3 3 3 3. So yeah, it could be absolutely that diagonal where it's 3 up, 3 down, 3 up, 3 down, and then uh bullish out.
Yeah. All right. I mean, yeah, one to keep an eye on throughout the week.
Definitely. What was it? What was this? Sachs out. This is the
Yeah, this is like the
semi
semiconductor
bull,
thing.
right?
Mm,
Yeah. SMH, right? So that's the 3 bull of SMH. I think. Yeah, semiconductor. So this is the semiconductor ETF. So that's 3 bull. Yeah, that makes sense too. Nvidia. I mean, if I were to compare it to Nvidia, which I feel like it's mostly based on, yeah, Nvidia's in a 3 of the smaller structure to fuck 145. I mean, not that we can't see some massive pullbacks like this 1 to 30, because this could be a big diagonal, right? Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like this, they could make it really tough on Nvidia until it really breaks 150, which they probably, it probably will. Something along those lines. Which would kind of, hesitate that move or at least hold it back for to eat up premium for the next couple weeks or maybe week or two. But ultimately, yeah, I think those things are flying. Um yeah, man, I think I'm gonna wrap it up here though.
yeah, I think that's a good time.
Appreciate everybody swinging through. Appreciate the questions, Rithwick and Sal, man. Let's do this again.
Thanks, bro.
Yeah, fuck yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I think it'd be a cool idea. I definitely miss out on a lot of great shit like streaming all day. Like I don't go back through, a 7 hour stream to be like, oh, I went over GME, for this 2 minutes or whatever to like share. So I think this would be a good way to like help me do that because like I can scroll through an hour or two or whatever a lot easier. Or at least like highlight that shit a lot easier. So and going into the week, I think it'd be a good idea. Um, But seriously, Nebula is going to put out their weekly video in the morning. So if you're not following Nebula on Twitter, follow them. If you're not following them on YouTube, follow them, please. Um, all the links, like find their Twitter through my Twitter. It's linked all the way through there. Those plays are like me and Archie work on those to put them together. Those are the top plays where like like a lot changes Monday morning, right? Like anything, whatever. But those are the things I feel like people should be looking at first and foremost. Like they're literally like Archie's scouting them. So he's telling you like this shit looks good. So like seriously look at them. Like if he's telling you they look good, like They look fucking good. So seriously, please, 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 if you could do one thing for me, is make sure you're following Nebula on Twitter and on YouTube. End of week. But seriously, like literally free plays. Like I'm gonna go over them early in the day tomorrow. Archie will be up and we'll talk about them. But the video should be out tomorrow morning at some point. With the plays we're looking at, again, the best plays we're looking at, the best setup. So watch the video early in the morning, mark the levels, and let's make some fucking money this week. I'll catch y'all in the morning. Again, thank you guys for being here and hanging out.
Hell yeah, bro.
Dude. Yes, sir. Thanks again, Dragon. Appreciate you, bro.
Fuck yeah, man. Appreciate all you guys.
Let's
Get
make
the
the money
rep,
this
bro.
week.
Let's fucking go.
Yes, sir.
All right, gang. Y'all enjoy y'all night. I'll
All
catch you in
right.
the morning.
All right. Later.
Aloha.